there's quite a bit more work to do to ensure that you are ready to get on. Welcome to Are You RV Safe? I'm John.
And I'm Borgie. And in this episode, we're going to be covering how to set up your vehicle or RV for touring.
So whether you've got your caravan or camper trailer picked out already, there's a little bit more work to do to make sure that you are as safe as possible out on the road.
What accessories should I put my hard-earned money into? Can my vehicle tow my RV? Is it all going to be overloaded? It can really get quite confusing.
So we're going to try and simplify things as much as we can for both our learners and for you at home to ensure that you become RV safe.
All right guys, so we've decided we want to get into the whole RV scene. The next thing is to decide how we're going to do it, whether it's going to be a caravan, camper trailer, motorhome. Where I'd personally like to start with that is deciding what you need out of your RV. Okay, whether you need bathroom facilities, you might need an extended lounge, maybe extra couple of beds. Once you've decided that, then we need to work out the tow vehicle side of things for caravans and camper trailers. What's going to tow it, okay? And that's going to pretty well revolve around how much weight and the length of the trailer that you're going to be towing, all right?
Basically, your tow vehicle needs to legally be able to tow your RV. So the question is, are you choosing your RV to match your tow vehicle or the other way round?
But once we've worked out what we need from a vehicle, then we can start looking into the whole accessories side of things, isn't that right?
That's right, Borgie. What we've got to then look at is the type of accessories that we fit into and onto the vehicle to make it easier to do the things that we want to do and where we want to go. What do you think would be the most important accessories you would want to choose?
I've found that reversing cameras are helpful in terms of not having an accident, not damaging the vehicle, not damaging someone else's vehicle.
So Jesse, what do you think about the accessories you'd like to put on the vehicle to make it safer to do the job you want to do?
Well, when it comes to safety, I actually have no idea. I thought that the car already came with all that kind of stuff.
So when it comes to vehicle accessories, I'm fairly clueless. So I'm looking forward to learning which ones will help with the safety side of things.
When I think of accessories, I'm thinking about all the fun stuff, like how am I going to mount the bikes and the kayaks and all that kind of thing.
Okay, well that's a great way to think about it, but we've then got to accessorise the vehicle to be able to carry those things as well. And the problem with that is that it all adds weight, and that weight we need to take into account when we're fitting out the vehicle.
Okay.
The good thing is though, a lot of the manufacturers, they're realising now that, hey, people are towing these days, they need vehicles that can do it and do it safely, and they're starting to introduce a fair bit of tech to really help out with that as well.
And Evan, what do you think are some of the things that you would like to put into a vehicle to make it safer for what you're going to be towing?
I really like modifying four-wheel drives, as you know.
Yeah,
but normally they're a little bit silly. I've had a few comp trucks and stuff in the past. If we're going for a new car, safety, I'm doing brakes and tyres straight away.
Okay.
You've got to think about it. That's your car making contact with the ground. First things I'm doing.
Well, you're going to be towing the camper trailer and you're going to be doing quite a bit of off-road with that. So that's a good choice.
And then probably suspension then.
Yeah, that'll help as well.
And then it's going to snowball. And then it's going to get silly, and then I'm going to get divorced.
Well, yeah.
At least you'll have somewhere to sleep.
I will. And it'll be jacked up.
Rolling.
Action.
So guys, tyres are a really, really crucial part of our RV setups, okay? We want to make sure we've got good tyres on there, no damage on the outside, but it's actually really important to make sure they're not getting too old as well. Rubber over time can harden, it can crack, it can fatigue, and sometimes that happens on the inside where you can't see it. So the general rule of thumb is once a tyre hits about 5 years of age, you really want to get it checked out by a tyre professional, okay? You want to get them to get in there and have a bit of a look inside the tyre, and then every 12 months after that, okay? Now, how old is your tyre? Well, most tyres will have it written on the side how old the tyre actually is. There's a little 4-digit code. It's just down here. It's basically the first 2 digits mean it's the week of the year that the tyre was manufactured. So on this tyre here, we've got 1-4, so this is the 14th week of the year, and it's got 2023. So these tyres were manufactured last year for us, okay, in the 14th week, and we can track that from then on.
One of the most important accessories that we can actually fit to the vehicle when we're towing, especially towing something that's wider than the car, is a good set of mirrors, good set of extended mirrors. You need to have the visibility to be able to manage traffic effectively. The only way that that can happen is to have a set of mirrors that extend out past the caravan. Easy way to check: walk down to the back corner of the caravan, look up the side of the caravan when the car and van are in a straight line, and if you can't see any of the mirror surface, then you need to have extended mirrors.
Interview 5, take 1. Second sticks.
That's better, mate.
I think the most important accessory that we can fit when we are operating an RV is actually communications. Fitting a UHF radio or some description of radio into the vehicle means that you can then communicate freely with a wide variety of other road users, which ultimately makes you a safer driver in that area.
These Volkswagen Amaroks have had quite the list of aftermarket accessories added. BF Goodrich all-terrain tyres have been paired with alloy wheels from King Wheels, and behind those are heavy-duty DBA brakes. Although Amaroks come standard with a brake controller, we've installed a Red Arc Tow Pro in the red Amarok to be able to demonstrate how these work also. TJM bash plates will work to protect the running gear from rocks and sticks. Under the silver Amarok, we're running a 2-inch suspension lift, and on the red Amarok, the Ultimate Suspension have installed a full GVM upgrade. Both vehicles have had a Maxliner canopy installed, and above those are a front runner slimline roof rack. On the front of the vehicles, we have a variety of Light Force driving lights and a TJM winch. Now, it's not recommended to head into the Aussie outback without a bull bar, so we've installed a TJM one with rated recovery points in case you need to be recovered. There are also rated recovery points on the tag tow bar at the rear of the vehicles, and then inside we have the Uniden UHF radios and dash cams. These Amaroks are ready for touring.
Has anybody here ever experienced trailer sway?
Oh yeah, big time, some years ago.
Under what circumstance?
I had a car trailer behind a Valiant Charger with a whole lot of building material on the trailer. It got a sway up where it was pulling the back of the car, the tyres were squealing, pulling the back of the car from side to side.
Pretty dramatic.
Terrifying.
How'd you get out of it?
I eased off and it started to settle a bit, and I actually, as I got to a hill, I accelerated a little bit and then backed off again, and
It all came good.
slowly got there.
I guess the thing that scares me the most about towing is getting those wobbles on that everybody hears about. And, I've got kids in the back and I'm responsible for them, and it's just a horrifying thought, really.
There's a school of thought out there that you need to accelerate the vehicle to try and control trailer sway. Unfortunately, that is pretty much the wrong thing to do. What we end up with when we do that is a faster accident. The trailer's using that speed as energy to start to sway. When the trailer is behind the vehicle, it's travelling at exactly the same speed as the vehicle. When the trailer's sitting out here to one side, it's actually trying to overtake the vehicle. So if we can reduce that speed and therefore reduce that energy, things start to become a lot safer for us. There is no 100% guaranteed way to prevent sway. There's a number of precautions that we can take. What do you think causes trailer sway?
It could be wind, outside conditions,
Yeah, wind.
a truck going past.
But other reasons why the trailer could sway is that the trailer may be incorrectly loaded to start off with. You may have tyres that are starting to deflate, or you may have a tyre that's completely blown. With the trailer brakes that are fitted as standard equipment in the Amarok, it is a slide control, so you pull that across and hold it across, and the whole time you're holding it across, the trailer brakes are being applied independent of the vehicle. With the Red Arc units, if we press the button, the trailer brakes are being applied independent of the vehicles. So I'm going to get this thing rolling and we'll simulate a couple of things. So it's rolling at around about what we would consider to be road speed, say 90, 95 kilometres an hour. Big gust of wind comes along from the truck, trailer's empty, disturb the trailer, nothing really happens. It regains composure fairly quickly, doesn't it? All right?
John adds a lot of weight to the front of the trailer, which adds weight to the tow ball. This weight could be bikes, a toolbox, or firewood, among other things.
It's not dramatic, but it is not settling either. So now put the trailer brakes on.
So just the trailer brakes, not
Just the trailer brakes, that's all I've done. But it's purely because we put all this weight right at the very front of the trailer.
Yeah.
Removing the 3 bricks from the front, John now puts just one of those bricks right at the back of the trailer.
Now a big gust of wind comes along from that truck, and away it goes.
Wow.
That's savage.
That is savage.
We can control that by putting the brakes on the trailer independent of the car. I'll get the trailer swaying again. We would come off the throttle in the car, immediately apply the brakes on the trailer. But if we move the weights into the correct positions, a little bit of weight forward, and then the majority of the weight centered around the axles as best we can, the stability of the trailer will improve dramatically. So let's try that.
So John moves 1 brick to the front of the trailer and 2 bricks to the middle of the trailer. Let's see if distributing the weight this way helps prevent the trailer from swaying.
If we disturb the trailer, and we can be quite violent with it, and it regains almost immediately. So it's really important that we have the weight centered around those axles as best as possible, with just a little bit of weight forward, and that works really, really nicely.
You definitely learned a lot about trailer sway, because in my head you had to accelerate out of it and sort of ride the bucking bull, so to speak. But it couldn't be further from the truth, and we saw that.
If I experienced trailer sway in the past, I would have panicked and slammed on the brakes, but I have learnt not to do that.
As John said, you've got 4 to 17 seconds to play with. It's not a lot of time. Back off, straight on the trailer brakes.
So the combination of 2 is a great way to recover from a sway.
Rolling. Cool. Yeah, right.
If you don't care about RV safety, then there's probably no point sticking around.
All right, guys, we're getting to some really important stuff here, and that's the weight side of things. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of different maximum limits that we've got to stay under for both the car and the trailers as well.
It's an absolute minefield. All the acronyms that are involved with towing RVs and RVs themselves, tear weights, gross combined masses, aggregate trailer masses, gross vehicle mass, it's never ending almost.
I know the acronyms, but I could definitely do with a refresher because I forget very easily.
So the really important side of this is to weigh what we've got in the configuration that it currently is. Right, we know we've made some modifications, certainly to the Amarok here. We've put upgraded suspension on there, we've put a bull bar on there, roof rack, we're carrying some gear. We know that we've added to the weight. So what we're going to do here now is to figure out what it currently weighs. We know what it's allowed to weigh. The difference is our payload.
Sounds scientific.
Almost. It really is.
Payload just means the total weight you can add to your vehicle. We're talking water, fuel, gas bottles, clothes, you and your passengers, and even the coins in your pocket. Importantly, it also includes the downforce on the tow ball. Now, payload is going to be unique to each towing setup, and the only way to find out what yours is to have your vehicle professionally weighed.
The issue is that if the vehicle and whatever we're towing is overweight, significant ramifications with insurance companies. They may not issue a claim if there's an accident. It is absolutely paramount that we know exactly how much payload we're allowed to put into both the RV and the vehicle that's towing it.
We're going to show you about 10 seconds of footage, but it actually took about half an hour for John and Borgie to line up the scales properly and make sure each of the 6 wheels was centered on the scales. Once they have the weight of the GCM, the gross combined mass, of both the vehicle and trailer, it's time to unhitch and measure individual weights.
530.
530. You know, we're giving all away our trade secrets now, don't we? So we've got 982.
Look at you go, 982. You're on the ball, mate.
That's why I married a maths teacher.
All right, Jesse, we've got some results here. First of all, GVM, or the gross vehicle mass, we've still got a remaining 825 kilos of payload.
That is spectacular.
That's thanks to the GVM upgrade that's been put into this vehicle. So that's really, really helped us out. And then for the GCM, we've done equally well as well. We've actually got 982 kilos remaining with the payload. So
Okay.
that's gross combination mass. Really, really good result.
That is spectacular, Jess.
Might be able to fit some push bikes in there.
Yeah. And comfortably take the family away with all your gear as well.
Excellent.
And joy of it is, with that upgrade, with the GVM upgrade in the vehicle will be nice and safe.
That's the main thing.
Absolutely.
GVM stand for
Gross vehicle mass.
ATM,
Aggregated trailer mass.
GCM.
Gross combined mass.
Well, you're getting it.
All right, guys, so we've got the caravan still on the scales here. We've got a little bit of a challenge / experiment for you now. As you can see, we've got a whole bunch of products here on the floor, where what we'd like you to do is grab this gear and pack it into the caravan in the safest way possible. And what we're trying to do is work out where the best places to put this equipment actually are in terms of balance.
Be mindful of where you think you're going to put stuff, and then we'll just have a quick judgment of that at the end of this.
Let's get stuck in.
Let's get stuck into it.
All right.
You guys load, we'll just sit back and watch, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a fair idea of weight distribution, even motorcycling, where you put your luggage, whether it's in the top box or the side panniers. I reckon the van's probably made so that the weight is spread evenly.
Yep. Are we going to work as a team or are we going to do this individually?
I would suggest you work as a team.
Well, it'll get us out of here quicker, so let's start lifting stuff, I reckon. What's heaviest?
what's
The
this
Go Block's
weigh,
probably
yeah.
the heaviest.
No, I'll
You're-
take that one. That
sure?
one's pretty good, yep.
I know very little about weight distribution. As to how to load a caravan safely, I could definitely do with some help with that.
Woohoo! Nelly dropping it.
Oh, and I've wrecked it before I've gotten into it.
You should have the light of this. These scales are saying it's still heavier at the front.
Well, that's cheating. You're not allowed to be looking at the scale.
How is that cheating? I never took that seriously before. You put stuff where it fits. I learned to drive in a Suzuki Sierra, so you put what you could fit in the car. Just chuck stuff in the car and go. Done. That's how I pack it. Did you see my car?
You're not peeking, are you?
I'm just looking at the readout here. I can tell Martin's in the van.
Evan, I'm looking at you.
But there's data there.
This is interesting.
Mate, I'm fascinated by this. I truly am. And they're enthusiastic about it as well.
There's a bit of a skip in Evan's step there, I'm seeing.
If we were to just put everything straight over the axle,
Yes.
that'd be easy. We could put a heavy one right at the back.
Jesse's exhausted. Right, Jesse.
Lucky last.
Alrighty.
That's pretty comfortable, actually.
So we took a record of the scales before it was packed,
Oh, there are scales.
and now we'll go and read the scales again. So, how do you reckon you went?
I think if we were loading the van to actually go away,
Yeah.
you wouldn't be able to put things in the middle of the floor like we have.
So we've got a fair bit of weight over the axle here,
Well, there's
John.
a lot of stuff on the bed as well.
Yep.
That's good. All right, let's do the scales and have a look.
John and Borgie are documenting the weight from each scale to determine how the weight has been distributed around the vehicle and caravan.
All right, so that went really, really well. Well, it was a surprise for me. I thought they weren't going to do as well as they have. But you've managed to distribute the load really evenly throughout the van. And how much weight has that added to us, Borgie?
So what we've done is we've added 103 kilos all up to the caravan, okay? And what's interesting is with that 103 kilos, the weight distribution side of things, we've actually added 57 kilos to the left-hand side, and we've added 29 kilos to the right-hand side. So it goes to show that where you place things makes a big difference as to how the van becomes balanced overall. The other thing that we've
what's that done to the rear axle load as well?
that's the big one there. So the rear axle load, it's actually increased it by 17 kilos. So what's happened there is the weight's been positioned a little bit forward, it's increased our toe ball mass, which has also impacted our rear axle mass on the vehicle.
So that rear axle load is the rear axle of the car.
Correct.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
Ball weight.
There's a bit in it, isn't there?
There is. That's
Wow.
it. I know this is quite a lot to take in. There's a fair bit involved, but look, the general recommendation is to go and get your van and your vehicle, okay, professionally weighed. Find out exactly where you stand, and once you get that done, you know where to load things into the right positions, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and ultimately, getting it weighed, you have the knowledge now to make sure that everything is safe out on the road.
I definitely learned a lot about weight distribution and the importance of getting it right. Having the scales there, we were accurately able to see, hey, just a few boxes in the wrong spot makes a huge difference. So if you had a van, no brainer to go and get it weighed properly. Absolute no brainer.
We hope you managed to pick up a few tips out of this episode on how to set up your RV or vehicle to get on the road.
I'm sorry. For more detail on these topics and any additional videos, please check out the RV Daily website.
And on that note, we'll catch you back here next week when we ask the question, are you RV safe?
Next week on Are You RV Safe, it's time for our learners to get behind the wheel. How will Jesse go towing a caravan for the first time? Will Evan dent another rear bar reversing a camper trailer? And how quickly can they pull up in the brake test? Tune in next week to find out. RV Safe is a safety initiative of the CMCA, Australia's largest RV club. Join the CMCA to meet like-minded travellers, for discounts on insurance, access to RV parks, the Wanderer magazine, and their popular GeoWiki X-Travel app.
It's fun to be in the CMCA.